are the Instructor C, which is our main course that we do, and it is how to teach complete beginners. And it's essentially for slackliners, but ideally we would eventually like for this to be something that as slacklining grows as a sport, we would really like to have maybe not people who are just slackliners. It'd be great to have teachers, trainers, football coaches, basketball coaches coming with the interest to learn about slacklining so that they can supplement this with any other training that they do for things. Because as we know, balance training really complements pretty much every activity, every sport. And so yeah, the Instructor C is someone who can give courses and workshops and introduce new people to the sport, spread awareness in our communities. The Instructor B is a bit more of a specialty program, and it's also people who do have the Instructor B can give the Instructor C, and so it's for intermediate or advanced slackliners who want to do something a bit more specialty, like specifically for like waterlining or trick lining. So eventually, like we hope to develop those modules as well. And then, of course, we have the rigger certification, and what this is, it allows you to, it qualifies you to rig festivals and events, which of course many festivals and events essentially work with volunteers and they don't necessarily need the certificate, but there are festivals where the insurance requires that that they do have some certified people. A rigger can also certify an event, and a rigger can also give simple workshops on basic rigging concepts. So this infograph will explain things a little bit. We basically, a senior instructor A can give all of the certifications. A trainee is somebody who is working on mainly like the getting their Instructor A certificate and their rigger certificate. A senior instructor B can do the Instructor Cs, and the Instructor B can do the Instructor C, and the senior Instructor Cs can do the Instructor C. And this essentially explains like how many people we need to do them, what certification they have to be able to give the program. These are going to eventually end up on our website. We've just sort of finalized these recently, so you'll be able to find these later if you're still a bit unclear on this stuff. The senior instructor A is for expert slackliners. They're essentially like the super senseis that can teach the advanced methodology. They can give the courses in the specific slackline disciplines, and yeah, they make everything on a slackline look super magical and unbelievable. And eventually we would like to develop a judging certificate so that we can have official ISA certified judges that can do events and competitions. For those of you who aren't aware, slacklining just officially received official recognition as a sport in Switzerland. So this is something that hopefully we'll need judges for big world events in the future. The Instructor Cs from 2020 to 2022, the courses have happened in Switzerland, Turkey, Germany, Chile, and Peru. And the reason they happen so much in Chile is because Isidro Rodriguez Cuadra, who is the president of the sport commission, he's on fire. He goes and gives the Instructor C as much as he can. And it's possible to do it in Chile because slacklining has grown so much, and so there's a demand for it. And he's been able to give loads of courses. And yeah, he went to Peru to do it as well. And so to date, as I mentioned, we have 380 instructors from 32 countries, which is pretty amazing because we really don't have that many senior Instructor Cs. So yeah, here's some photos from the event that happened in Chile. As you can see, a lot of the stuff is it's super informal. We're a bunch of volunteers. We're a bunch of people who figure out where things can happen. And sometimes the initial certification the theory component of it will happen in someone's house. Typically, the Instructor C certification gets done in conjunction with a festival. I see some people here have joined us who did the certification at the Breathe Festival in Indiana. And that we were lucky that because it was a festival where we did the certification one day, and then for people to get to pass their evaluation, we were able to basically have a beginner workshop the following day. And what was cool about Breathe was that it was a festival that was slacklining, but it was also like a movement and discovery festival. So it had a lot of circus stuff. It had a lot of workshops on circus, on acro, on everything. They have like 150 workshops. It's an incredible festival, and they have like, I don't know, 100 slacklines in a park in a forest, basically. But what was cool about that was we were able to do the certification, and then the evaluations happened with actual like proper first time beginners. Oh, Jorge, hi, yes. And so that's what happened, and that was pretty wonderful about it. I think with Isidro, what they do is they basically just end up going to a park and finding new people to teach slacklining to. So yeah, the rigor certifications: Australia, France, USA, Switzerland, Belgium, Germany, and Mexico, and now we're at 165 ISA certified riggers. This one's a bit more of a challenge to do, but it's been in such demand that it's worked out because Sara Gleiner, thank you, Sara, has just been everywhere. And what'll happen with that is basically somebody will go and teach a rigging certification, and then we'll see who out of that group of riggers that eventually gets certified has more advanced competencies. And then we will approach that conversation with them to see if they eventually want to be a trainee and then a senior rigging instructor. And then as we have more people join to be able to do that, we can provide more of these courses. So Switzerland, we have a friend named Raf who has this beautiful home in Capelli, which we keep having rigger certifications at, because one of the requirements for a rigger certification is that is location. Really, like there's a main component of it is like where are people going to stay, and we have to have not only access to being able to rig high lines or mid lines, but also can we host people. And this is why it typically will be done sort of prior to a festival. And the idea is that also if it's done prior to a festival, then these certified riggers can now also help volunteer to rig the festival as well. It happened in Australia. Sara was able to get down to Australia. We have Kat Horton down there as well, and Kat was the former vice president of the ISA. Kat is now permanently in Australia, but Kat was able to do a wonderful rigger certification with Sara, and then from that we were able to find some more senior trainees. And I'm going to let Thomas take over now for a couple of minutes. And Thomas is going to explain to you a new certification database, a new certificate database right now that is in the process of being made. So Thomas, please go ahead.
You're still muted, Thomas.
Yeah.
Thanks, sorry. I think I'm at 90 degrees as well on your screen, guys. Yeah, whatever. Now it works.
Yeah, you're kind of wiggling around.
Hello. Nice to see so many people here. I'm actually at our weekly slackline training here, combined with juggling and unicycle, flow arts, and so on. Yeah, this happens 8 hours per week here in Bern. So if you come by, show up. So I'm here quickly to talk about some new initiative that has been going on, mostly in the administrative side of Educom, and it concerns the certificates. You can already see the slide Miriana showing. So these are the certificates. They're still being revised, but the current version can be downloaded. Maybe quickly go to the next slide, Miriana. Yeah, so at the end of the day, what we created is ISA login for everyone. It can be found at the domain, the second domain you see here, account.slacklineinternational.org. You can go on that domain whenever you want, create your own profile. And in case you have created a certificate course with the ISA, you should immediately be able to then download your certificates. So that's basically a simple login system, like an intranet for your certificates. There's going to be more with this account system. This is just like one of the first features. The second feature, which will be important and will be coming up in the next week or so, is that you will be able to use this login for other applications, such as the new Slack map. Yeah, that's how it will look, or how it looks right now. So be sure to create your own profile. In the future, we're also trying to link this up with other ISA services, members, certificates, and ranking list, and so on. So this is an ongoing project. But for now, you can download your certificates. There's some problem, just to inform you about that, with the Instructor C certificates still. They're not working yet, but all the other certificates should be available and should be up and running in the next week or two. Okay, this is what it looks like when you log in. You just have some basic information about yourself. You can add a picture in the upper left corner, and you can push on certificates on the left, and then you can download these as a PDF. So very simple for now. There's actually a new feature which has just been added, which you cannot see on the screen. On the left side, you can join yourself to organizations. So if your national federation, local club is an ISA member, they from now on have the possibility to sign up as a club or as a federation to this system here. And you can join them, giving you a verification QR code, meaning that you can show to third party, be it a gear manufacturer or an entry at some venue or event, that you actually are a member of this club or federation. So this is not visible right now on the slide, but this is something that is already online now. The slide you see now, that's how it looks like if you have certificates from the ISA, and you can just download them. For now, only in English. We're planning on doing these multilingual in Spanish and so on in the future. Yeah. Maybe next slide, Mirjana. Is that it already?
That's it.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot. If you have any questions, just write to info@. If you cannot manage to log in or have other problems, just let us know through the general email, and I'll figure out what's going on. Thanks, guys. And back to you, Mirjana.
Thank you so much, Thomas.
Sure.
So yeah, friends, right now it's still in development. If for whatever reason you absolutely urgently need your certificate right now, just email me. I'll put my email in the chat at the end. And yeah, anything, email me and we'll get you one manually. So COVID completely ravaged everything, including the amazing momentum that slacklining and slacklining events had prior to COVID. And we had good momentum, and then unfortunately we had to cancel a bunch of stuff. And so a Rigor Cert got canceled. Some of the Instructor C courses in the USA and Europe got canceled. I was supposed to go to Iran in October, and then they had a revolution. And so we decided it was best that I stay home. But yeah, I'm hopefully we can get that sorted because Nadmin and Tenet Line have done some amazing things, and I would love to go and see their Slack camp and their programs. And so hopefully we can make that happen. And yeah, just a lot of other ISA supported events got canceled as well. And so basically anybody who did a certification that has to do their refreshers, because typically our certifications are valid for 3 years. So we have not yet done any certifications. So as you know, the first certifications happened in 2017, and the recertification was supposed to happen in 2020. COVID, so we just extended and extended again. And now, thank you, Isidro, for joining us. So Isidro and myself are going to be doing the certifications online in March. And I'll speak more about that when I get to the slide. And so here's the slide. So yeah, all the Instructor Cs that were done before 2020, sometime in March, myself and Isidro are going to offer a few dates where this can happen. And what's going to happen with those is it's going to be mainly student led. It's going to be whoever joins to do the recertification. It's going to be, we want to see evidence of their teaching practice. We want to know that you are recertifying because you are still active and you're keeping everything fresh. And so we want to see what you've done, any new or successful methodology that you've come up with that has worked really well for you. We want to see it. Any fun or challenging games that you've been using with your students, any exercises and drills that are helpful in allowing people to better learn certain challenging techniques. And so the idea is that not only will it, nobody wants to just listen to myself and Isidro talk about slackline learning the whole time. So it's people who are active. It's people who have ideas that they want to share. And then we're hoping that with that, we can draw new people that want to be involved. And then not only that, but also whatever ideas they have, we can integrate and we can sort of develop around those things and see where they fit into the world of slackline learning. Because the whole thing about the ISA Education Commission that I really want to emphasize is that we want to be the network. We want to be a network where all the ideas and all the educators from all around the world have this hub and these resources where it is just community driven, and it's not just a few of us that are on the board or with the ISA that are the gurus that are coming up with all the rules and all the methodology. It's no, we want to see what works. We really want all the smart heads to come together and to develop these ideas for everyone for the benefit of our global community. So the recertifications for the riggers are set to happen as well in 2023. And one of the main components is going to be a first aid for riggers workshops. This was initially piloted in Turkey in 2020 by our friend Steffi, who's a doctor. And we've also got our friend Clayton, who's working on it. And he's certified in wilderness first aid and has paramedic experience, I believe. And so that's going to be the key component of the rigger recertification. And of course, we hope that whoever got the rigger certification initially is still rigging like crazy and keeping everything fresh for themselves. So in terms of 2023, this is what we've got planned and sort of planned. And so in July, at some point, I don't know when the festival is, but there's a gathering called Conflux. And I have been speaking to the guys that are organizing that to have an instructor C there. We're planning to do a rigger in Quebec. And so Dominic, I see you joined us. I know we haven't discussed it, but I could offer the instructor C as well. And we could do that. And I mean, I'm so very much hoping to come to Iran. So I'm hoping we can figure that out this year. And Isidro let me know yesterday that he has been speaking with someone who is very active in the community in Neuquén, Argentina, who would really like to have a certification there. And so, yeah, as I mentioned, at Capelli in Switzerland at Raph's place, there's going to be a rigger that is confirmed. The one that's going to happen in Kamouraska, Quebec, at a gathering there. That is almost confirmed. It's in discussion still. Everything that is in green is, again, something we're hoping to do, but hasn't been completely confirmed. And now the reason it's like this, and the reason that it's difficult for us to have a schedule for the certifications ahead of time is because basically we figure out what the events are that are coming up in the future. We meet with everybody who has done courses and we say who can go where and who can do what. And essentially the certifications are taught pretty much on a volunteer basis, and the cost of the certifications are essentially divided up between either the festival or the national organization, and then the riggers or the instructors, for the instructor C instructors. And essentially it's a small monetary compensation to help with travel costs. And so essentially, yes, everybody who's working with the ISA is still very much a volunteer. The ISA only takes, for the instructor C, we take €5 or $5 from the cost of the instructor C, which varies in price. So, for example, like when we did the course in Bosnia and Mexico, the price there is a bit lower, to keeping in mind the wages of the people there locally. And in somewhere like Central Europe, like in Switzerland, it's considerably higher. I think it's about 90 or €100. And same with the rigger certification, depending on where it's held. Again, the prices, the cost of the courses and the certifications are adjusted based on where they're held. And so, yeah, this is it. This is essentially, the courses happen wherever someone can go. So I'm hoping that some of you saw our videos. We worked very hard on a beginner tutorial series. It took us a long time to do because we were very ambitious with it. And initially we had a small group that we sat down, we thought, what do people who actually have no idea about slacklining, what do they need to know? So we came up with a few key things that we thought were important, because there are a lot of of tutorial videos out there, and some of them are quite good. And we also wanted to keep it very short, very sweet. And the idea for this is just for someone who's not a Slackliner, who doesn't have a community. Where can they go? Where can they find out everything? Let's explain it to them like they're 5. And then we got really ambitious, and we thought, let's have a whole bunch of translations, because we want everybody to be included. We don't want this to be just Eurocentric and English and just colonial languages. So initially we sat down and we thought, all right, what languages should we do? Let's do English and French. All right, and Spanish. Cool. And then somebody from Iran, our wonderful friend Nadmin, she saw our video, and she said, and then she translated it on Instagram. And it was funny because I think the ISA, like the ISA Instagram page, I think we had like 800 views or something in the first few days. And then the one in Iran had like 6,000 views or something. And it was amazing for us to see this, to see, for me, like I'm the one speaking in the first video, and I wrote the script, and for me to see my words in this beautiful Farsi script. And it got us thinking, and we thought, okay, you know what, let's keep going. Let's see what we can do. So I ended up reaching out to everybody in every Facebook community around the world that I can find. And I thought, hey, do you need some videos? And they said, yeah, this is great. We don't have the possibility to make these videos, but we can definitely do the subtitles so that our community can watch these videos. And so we went a little crazy. And the first 2 videos are translated in 30 languages. And the others are done in 15, and we'll keep working on it as we can. And thank you, Laurent, because Laurent set it up on Notion, and that's why it ran so seamlessly. And so it was an immense amount of work. And what's crazy about so many of these projects is that you don't realize how much, my pleasure, Nadine. Yeah, for sure. The 4th part, I went and published it quietly because I just wanted to get it out there. So I didn't do like a big release with it like we did with the others, but I'll send it to you and we can get it done for sure. So yeah, what's crazy with these projects, my friends, is that sometimes we don't realize how much is involved until we get started doing it. And so Laurent set this up so we could work on it easily, and I just went crazy. I just messaged everybody from all around the world. And then we were like, oh my gosh, because then once you get the translations in, then you've got to go put them into YouTube. And it was just a lot. But it's fine because all of our projects right now that I'm discussing are essentially legacy projects. Like, they're not anything that is going to get done quickly, and they're things that are meant to be there for the next 10, 20 years as slacklining continues to grow. So Thomas and Kara Urban, our wonderful videographer, made the New Year's series. So right now we have 3 videos out, and I know we're planning to come out with more, and they were just beautifully done, like nice quick short videos about little snippets, little small things that we thought that they found a need for. Yeah, there's a recycled slackline webbing made from recycled bottles. It's amazing. And then yeah, do you teach slacklining? So a call out to instructors, to people who want to be involved with the EduCom. And then the Slack rack, everybody should have one in their house. But yeah, it's a pretty wonderful tool. And thank you, Isidro, for lending your beautiful voice to these videos. And Thomas also has some good things to say in the videos. Oh, and Augustin, I don't know if he's here, but yeah, thanks, friends. They're wonderful. Our partners, yeah, special shout out to Nadvin from Temet Lion and the Yoga Slackers for joining us, because both of you and all of these partners that you see, these logos that you see on this page, are people who took the initiative to see the beauty of our sport and to see what they could do to help it grow. So Yoga Slackers, your program has just been incredible and it's been around for such a while now. I think, Ian, you've done it. I think, yeah, you had some good things to say about that. Temet Lion, at some point, Nadine, I promised your team that you guys could have about 15, 20 minutes at one of our meetings, so you could go into more detail about your program, because we only had a few minutes to give them last time, and they had this incredible presentation, and they work with schools, they work with their community, they have a Slack camp, they have A-frames, lots of A-frames, and just the organization, the level of organization is just incredible. It's really what I aspire to see everywhere. So thank you, Nadine. The logo in the right hand corner is the green arrow and the slackliner is an organization called The Right Direction, and it's a guy named Johnny Apicella who is from, where's Bowling Green? Indiana? I think he's from Indiana or Ohio in the United States. And he was a slackliner that knew some guy who, thank you, in Ohio, thank you. And so he was a slackliner that knew somebody who had this organization, and it's essentially an urban and extreme sport organization. Oh, thanks, Ian. Maybe you could tell us a bit more about it after. So yeah, basically like what they do is they have events where they combine like BMX and skateboarding and slacklining together. So it's just community-based stuff to get kids doing things that are not just ball-related activities. And so thanks to their work for that. RU Slack, our friend Ben Hughes from the United Kingdom, who travels all around the UK, and they basically do slacklining as part of other events. So they go to music festivals and other movement events, and they teach slacklining to beginners. How not to. Ryan Jenks, who has just contributed like an incredible amount of knowledge and just this incredible wealth of information to help push slacklining forward. Balanca Slackline, who are from Slovenia, our friend Miha Škov, who also did quite a bit of work on the Instructor C manual with us and starting to set up the Instructor B. And he basically he has this amazing Slack rack, and he has slacklines, and he does a lot of slackline education in Slovenia. And then the last one is Slack, which is Alex Schwid from the United States, and he makes some really, really good Slack racks, and he basically has those in gyms and tries to combine slacklining with fitness. So the outlook for 2023, we want to finish the Instructor C manual. For those of you who took it in the past, you see it has some holes. It needed some polishing for sure. And I've been saying for 2 years now that we're close to the end, because it's like a 60-page manual, and we're plugging along, or we're totally almost there. And what I'm really hoping we get this finished soon, because I want to get it translated into French and Spanish and possibly Portuguese. And it needs a facelift as well. It definitely needs some beautification. And so I'm really hoping that we can get some graphic designers working on it soon as well. As I mentioned, the recertifications and the refreshers, we want to develop the Instructor B program a bit more. I realize I misspoke earlier in terms of the Instructor Bs being able like a senior Instructor C can teach Instructor Cs, and so can an Instructor B. But you guys saw that infograph. But I mentioned that the Instructor B taught the Instructor C, but there's still the senior Instructor Cs. And so yeah, in terms of, back to the outlook, more tools and resources for our certified instructors. One of my goals, and I mentioned this at Breathe to our class there, was that I really want to have sort of this toolkit for our instructors. I want to have form letters that people can give to city councilors or city programs or schools that they can approach with. I want to have forms so people know what kind of things they need in terms of insurance, in terms of just things to protect themselves, like in terms of any bureaucratic issues, and just in general, like anything that we receive from any sort of contribution from any other slackliners, from anyone who's made contributions to education. Like I would really like us to be that network, and us to just have this big network where people have these tools available to them. So yeah, I'd like to make more tutorial videos. I think the ones that we made were great. I think it would be wonderful to make some more. And I would really like to develop I really want to promote the EDUCOM to French, Spanish, and Portuguese speakers, because I know there's this whole world of slackline educators, like France has their whole own little bubble going on over there. And just, I know it's so advanced over there in terms of their communities and what they're doing within the country and their programs, and just lots of people do it. And so it's a shame that I don't want us to only, and Belgium, sorry, yes, for sure. Belgium's been doing a lot too. Thank you, Laurent. And so, yeah, I don't want anybody to feel that they cannot be a part of what's going on with slacklining education through the ISA because of language barrier, and same with Spanish. I know a lot's going on in Mexico and Chile and Argentina and Peru now, and then Portuguese as well, Brazil. So yeah, and of course, continuing to promote slacklining in the friendliest, most welcoming, most accessible way we can. So this is what we need. We need a Slackretary. We need a treasurer. We need a social media content creator. And we need a course manager. So this is some of the less glamorous stuff. This is some of the administrative stuff that is super not as exciting as the content development, as the development of the programs. This is, as I've gone to festivals and as I've met people, there's a lot of stoke. There's a lot of desire to help with program creation, but there's a lot of administrative stuff that just has to get done. And so, of course, we're always looking for graphic designers, videographers, and photographers, and writers and translators. Those are simple ways to slot people in. But more specifically, we are seeking slackers with specific skills. And so it is pretty key right now to have a working fluency of English. I mentioned that French and Spanish are also okay, because for French, myself and Laurent can probably chat with some people who speak French who want to be involved, and then myself and Isidro can do the Spanish as well. And if it requires another meeting a month, I'm happy to do that. Computer literacy skills are important, because we've had a lot of volunteers contact us, and they have stoke, they have the motivation, but then they're not familiar so much with some of the stuff that we're using. Like, just we run a lot of things through Google, and then now I've been trying to set up a Trello so that we can, which is another project management tool, so that we can have people just get to specific tasks. Because that's been the biggest challenge, that a lot of the stuff we were initially just using Google Drive and just Google Docs. And for those of us who are familiar with what's in there, it's fine and it kind of makes sense. But to have new people come, it's a bit of a nightmare, because a lot of time is wasted just sort of reintroducing people to things, and it's harder to just get people working on the tasks. Like, as I mentioned, when Laurent set up Notion, that's when the translation project for the tutorial series just really caught some legs and really ran. And so it would also be beneficial if you've completed an ISA instructor or rigor certification, because then you're familiar with some of the workings of the ISA and how the program is structured and what it looks like. Of course, project management and knowledge of specific programs is super beneficial. If you know Trello, Jira, or Notion, I could really use some help with this, because one of the difficulties that I've had lately is just trying to set up the Trello. So if anybody's familiar with that and wouldn't mind sitting down and working with me to set up that stuff, it would really help. And yeah, of course, you got to love slacklining a lot. Thank you, Adam. I will, for sure. So yeah, the specific projects. So as I've mentioned, I know Laurent will talk, we'll figure it out. Yeah, with Notion, I know it worked really well for the translations. I don't know, I was looking at Trello, and I'm looking at what we have open right now, and the things we have open, like I mentioned, were the translation project. But in addition to Notion, like the Notion, the way we have it set up is all for translations, but it would, like, we also need scripts and storyboards and graphic design elements and stuff like that. So that was the one thing that, as I mentioned earlier, that you end up with this project and you don't realize how many more pieces there are involved in the puzzle until you get to those pieces, right? And then, you know, Laurent and I had all the translations, and we're like, all right, let's go. And now we're on YouTube, and now we're like, oh, this too, and all that, and that. And now we need a thumbnail, and now we got to do this, and just all these things. So yeah, Adam, Laurent, maybe we'll chat later or another time, and we'll figure out what's the best way to set up the current projects we have. I mentioned the Instructor C manual. It needs the refreshing, it needs the updates, it needs translations, and it needs graphic design. And so I was trying to set that up on Trello, and just my brain was not cooperating. So yeah, guys, we'll take a look at it at some point, and we'll see how we can get it set up a bit better. So yeah, there's the Instructor C manual, there's setting up Instructor B, there's the translations for the video projects. And then, yeah, this new stuff, these specific projects. So teaching slacklining to children, that's been a dream of ours for a while. We get asked about it quite frequently in emails from people, because this is the future. Slacklining is the new skateboarding, and it's not a crime. Thank you, Yoga Slackers. Amazing. And so, yeah, slacklining is the new skateboarding. So I don't know if anybody ever remembers like the T-shirts or the stickers that said skateboarding is not a crime, because they were the outlaws, and now like we're kind of seen as the outlaws sometimes because we go to parks and people are like, oh my gosh, you're damaging trees, and it's because it's still a fringe sport. It's still very unknown, and I think through these wonderful education programs, we can sort of let the world know that no, we're actually doing good. We're protecting the trees. Often, I know my community, I'm from Toronto, Canada, and in our community, we always do park cleanups. We always bring gloves, we bring bags, we pick up, I don't know how many cigarette butts, because a lot of people just like to go to parks to drink and smoke and leave garbage, and it's tragic. And so we turned it into this big party, and we want to be the nicest, most friendliest, most welcoming people. And I think through these programs, this is how we can sort of spread that message. And so, yeah, like the teaching slacklining to children, like it would be amazing if we can get a working group set up for that. I would love to do a program for accommodations for people with different abilities. I don't only want, fully able-bodied people to slackline. I would love to see people with cerebral palsy. I think there's ways that they can do it if we have supports for them, and if we can figure out some ways for them to use it, because the slackline is not just a bridge. You don't just have to get to the other side. There's many ways to use it, right? I want to continue with the beginner tutorial series, as I mentioned, and then we have some people who have worked with the EDUCOM that are physiotherapists, and there's been talks about doing slacklining for rehabilitation because they have been successfully using slacklining within their physiotherapy. And of course, as I mentioned, anything else we have a need for, because as I mentioned, everything that's come out of the ISA has been due to a need within the community. So, mentioning again, the next meeting is going to happen Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. So same time as now, as this meeting started today. And it's going to be the reboot meeting. It's basically going to be, we need to fill all of our positions, and we need to fill some key roles. And so that meeting will basically be where I'm going to, I got you, dude. I'll send a link. And so actually, you know what? We can use the same link. So maybe save this like on a Post-it or something, or a sticky on your computer or your phone. So yeah, you know what, let's use the same link, and we'll meet then. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go through the Google Drive. I'm going to go through Notion. I'm hoping we can maybe get Trello set up somewhat before then. And hopefully we can talk with some specific people and see how some people specifically can get involved and what they're interested in. And then that way, I'm hoping with Trello, if we have a proper project management workstation, that we can give people specific tasks, because a lot of this stuff has been slow to move along because it's essentially been like me and Laurent, or maybe one other person or two other people that realize like, okay, this has to get done and let's just do it. And then we get motivated people that are like, what can I do? And we're like, just wait, let me just do this thing and then I'll get back to you. But sometimes things just take a while, and then some people disappear, and that's it. And I've had a lot of one-on-one meetings to be like, this is our Google Drive, and this is what we do, and this is it, and here's how you see this. And it's a lot. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that if you're interested, please join us at that meeting on February 22nd. I think Wednesdays will probably be our meeting days. What we tried doing last year was every 2 weeks we had a work session. And so it was like drop in whenever you want, see what tasks. Thank you, Paco. Good to have you, my friend. Amazing. So yeah, like I'm hoping we'll do this reboot meeting. I'll familiarize everybody with everything that is currently open, and then hopefully people can get to some specific tasks. And that's it. How am I doing? Oh, are we early? No, we're totally late. Oh no, we're totally early. We're like super early. Did I talk really fast? I think I talked very fast. Friends, that's it. That's wow. I thought I was gonna have more to talk about. Is there any average fee for the rigor certification in Europe? I don't know. I will have to get back to you. My pleasure. Thank you. I will have to get back to you. I don't know. Who's here? Nobody's here that. Actually, Laurent, what was the fee for the? Did you guys do the rigor? You guys did a rigor cert in Belgium, right?
Yeah, but in Belgium it was a bit different than in other the other certification that we had before, because we had basically no fees for like the the accommodation and other, so so that decreased a lot the cost
Okay.
of the rigorous certification. But basically the rigorous certification, it's around like 200-300 euros.
Okay. Yeah, I remember like 250. So Paco just mentioned in Mexico it was 125 US dollars. So Nicoforo, I think in Greece it would probably, oh, you recorded the meeting? Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Tony, you can send it to me. Thank you. So I think in Greece, like in the Balkans, it would probably be something closer to like what it would be in Mexico. But it's hard to say from now. So right now we're really hoping to do one in Bosnia. They've been asking for a couple of years. But as I mentioned, it really comes down to like who can go. And so thankfully it's a pretty amazing festival. Everybody should go. It's a pretty wonderful place and it's fairly inexpensive. So this is what I'm hoping. Yeah, no, I mean, that would be amazing. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Sean. So yeah, Nicoforo, I think it's like, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like somewhere between, let's say, like 150 euro, maybe around there, if you just to get an idea. So yeah, and I mean, I would love that document. Thank you so much. And Tony, I appreciate it. I do. What else? Cool. After recording, you can use his. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Paul. Oh, hi, Paul. Good to see you. We met a few years ago. Cool. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, honestly, friends, like it was funny. Thomas and I were speaking earlier, and it's funny because a lot of people see the ICA is a really professional organization, but we're a bunch of volunteer dirtbag slackers that are doing this on our free time for the love of the community and for the love of the sport, and because it touched us in a special way. And I think you're here today because slacklining has touched you in a special way. And so yeah, things move along slowly. You know, you saw my little turtles earlier. We go as we can. Initially, like I know when we were making the videos, we were like trying to set deadlines for ourselves. But the fact is that we all have our full-time jobs. We have school. For many of us, our jobs include working on a computer for a long time. And so for me, sometimes I'll get people wanting to volunteer, and basically the most challenging thing is like I don't want to give people too many things that are going to make them burn out, because this has been the thing that like Laurent and I dealt with it, like when we were doing the videos and we did the tutorial series videos. It was so much work in such a short amount of time because we were trying to get it out with a timely manner still so that people could see these videos before slackline season was over in the Northern Hemisphere, because that's still, it appears that where most of the slackliners are. And so just, that's it. I hope people understand that we're a bunch of volunteers, we're a bunch of friends, we're doing the best we can to grow this sport, because there's like no money in it. There's no money. Like I wish I could say that going and teaching slackline courses is my job. That's why Yoga Slackers, I admire you so much for what you've done. Like it's just such an amazing project, and it's just gonna grow. It's just gonna keep going, Cool. Yeah, Fox, that's awesome. Let's talk. Like this is it. Like I want seniors to slackline. Absolutely. Cool. 3 of you are here from Breathe. That's awesome. Heck yeah, guys. Heck yeah, friends. Amazing.
Hi.
So yeah, these are the ideas. Hi. Yes, please. Unmute yourself if you want to speak. Yes. Hello.
Yes. Hi. Thank you a lot for all this amazing job. I just want to ask, definitely I don't have time to take some tasks, but I have a lot of experience with teaching slacklining for last 8 years. It's my job. And I have also experiences with deaf people. I don't know if it's polite to say it like this, but I think I can share some knowledges, and I want to ask what is the best way to write it down to some, I don't know, document or yeah. Just want to ask how is the best
Sure.
way to share?
Anta, do you think you can make it to the meeting? If you can make it to the reboot meeting, just so you can see what
Okay.
everything is, then I can give you access, and then
Okay.
you can just input whatever you can on your own time, just in the Google Drive.
Good.
And that's
Thank you.
essentially because, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for wanting to be involved. So, friends, Laurent just put my email in the chat, so please take it down. And any questions or, oh, Laurent, thank you so much as well. And, oh yeah, that's a good idea as well, Paco. Yeah, or Anta, if you want, make a video explaining that stuff and we can write it down. Up to you really. But if you can make it to the reboot meeting, that would be ideal, because then I can just show you our systems. Because ideally, this is working remote online for this kind of project, which is global, which has people from all parts of the world and all different time zones. Like the yoga slackers are in Thailand right now, so it's like what, almost 2 a.m. for you folks. So yeah, okay,
1:30.
Adam, I'm down. 1:30. Cool. Yeah, so basically, like,
We
this
did-
is it. This is what? Sorry?
I was gonna say we have one thing to ask you all.
Yes, please.
We have another training coming up, and we want to incorporate the ISA methodology in a little bit. So maybe
Amazing.
the people doing our training can get like a dual certification. So
Sam-
I just want to chat about that. in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do that. If either if it's not too late, you can stick around after, or we can set up a separate meeting. But this was actually something I was thinking about doing as well. I would love to actually give the yoga slackers my blessing for you folks to be able to do an instructor C as well, because you folks are everywhere. So it would be amazing for you to be able to offer it, tack on an extra day to your yoga slacker training, and then be able to offer it. So yeah, let's definitely
Yeah.
get that conversation going at some point. I know it'll be late for you folks, so like
Yeah,
I said, I don't mind. We can do it another time.
Yeah,
For sure.
2 a.m. would be hard for us to think. We have to get up early or head into another island in the morning. So.
Cool,
Okay.
cool, amazing. Paul, tell me.
Hey, Mariana. Nice to hear you and to see you.
Likewise, thank you.
So,
hello.
I have a question about the account from the Slackline International Association. And is it important to take this in a serious way? I mean, should I fill all the organization I have in? Is the ICA ID something important? Can I get in touch with other people? Or, yeah, there are a lot of questions about this.
Thomas, are you still there? Paul, can you email Thomas?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know.
No
I'm
problem.
sorry. I know, bad president. It's still in beta, so I haven't had a chance to really look at it myself at all yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
just it's been Thomas and one of our computer programmer geniuses, Chan Sahin, who's been working on that.
all right. Maybe I can put all the questions in one email and send it to Tom, and maybe he can send it to Chan, and then maybe they can put up some how do you say, FAQ, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Like before it comes out, like I'm going to be sending everyone a newsletter, because of course, like it's a new initiative, right? So we have to let everybody know. But like I said, it's so new that I'm not completely aware of its functioning. So maybe when you send him an email, please CC me if you don't mind, so I can
Yes,
be a part of
yes.
that conversation.
Okay. Is
And
your
Vinny,
email
say
in the
hi. Sorry. Yes, it's in
your-
the chat. Mariana at
All right.
slacklineinternational.org.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, Indonesia. The problem is the language. Is the problem to, for you to get the English? Yeah, I mean it's fine. Yeah, Vinny. The only thing is like we have the book in English, and so the thing is you kind of you need to read the book before doing the certification. Now, I hope one day I can just come to Indonesia and do the certification with you. But yeah, we've also discussed doing it online, but even if it ends up being an online course, someone needs to develop it. And so these are our limitations. The limitations are just the fact that, again, it's volunteer and, money is limited, time is limited. But Vinny, we'll talk about it. We'll figure out some way, because I would love to. I don't want the certifications to be limited to like Europe and North America and South America now. So we'll try to come up with something. We'll see what we can do, Vinny. I'm so happy you've joined us. It's amazing. Indonesia, yeah. See, now we're international. And sign you up for the recertification. Yeah, no problem. Wait, you did yours in 2020, right? Paco, we have to do the ones from Switzerland and Germany and Austria first. So yours is extended. Yours won't happen for probably another few months, maybe even next year. So no te preocupas. We'll get it done. Or who knows, maybe I'll see you at Mineral or something. And we'll do it. My pleasure, Vinny. My pleasure. Thank you. Amazing. Cool. Thank you, everyone, for the wonderful chats and for the engagement.